Once again, thank you for joining us for the MicroAge Talks Technology webinar series. Today's webinar focuses on Office 365. My name is Maria Fiore. I'm the Director of Business Development here at MicroAge, and I'm joined today by Anthony Guillem, our Marketing Ninja, and our presenter today. Before we begin the presentation, I wanted to mention that you can ask your questions throughout the webinar by typing them into the questions panel of the webinar tool, and we will address them at the end of the webinar. Also, we are recording this presentation and it will be sent to you later today. All right, so I'm going to spend a quick minute giving you an overview of MicroAge and who we are. So MicroAge has over 30 locations across Canada, and we are the largest network of IT experts in the country. We've been delivering services and solutions to our clients since 1981. Our team is definitely passionate about technology, but what really excites us is helping our customers achieve the business results they are looking for. It's our raison d'être. How do we do this? Our approach is simple. We work with you to identify your challenges and opportunities so that we can provide the best services and solutions to help address the challenges and give you the ability to go after the opportunities. And we do this with the support of a team of experienced and dedicated professionals. So the goal of today's presentation is to share with you some of our knowledge around Office 365 and how our clients have used the solution to make their people more productive, whether they are in the office, at home, or on the road. And so with that, I will turn it over to Anthony to begin the presentation.
Yes, thank you, Maria. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Sorry about that. As Maria mentioned, we're here to cover a little bit of how you can work smarter with Office 365. The agenda for today, here we go, sorry about that, is fairly simple. We're going to start by just explaining a little bit of what is Office 365 and why businesses should leverage it, how to implement it, according to Microsoft, fairly simple plan. We're going to cover a small case study that's very interesting from our folks and friends from MicroAge Regina. We're going to propose some next steps for you guys to either implement or maximize your investments with the Office 365. And then we'll jump to a Q&A. The presentation itself should take roughly half an hour. Which should leave us plenty of time for questions and answers. We just did give this presentation in French about an hour and a half ago, or 2 hours ago. So if there's any French words that are coming back while I'm presenting, please excuse my French. If there's anything, please use the chat window to ask your questions, and we'll make sure we cover everything we can at the end. With that said, let's get started. So Office 365, what is it? It's basically Microsoft's solution from, or its twist from the classic on-premise model, which required applications to be installed directly on a PC or any kind of computer for that matter. When you speak about Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, people are very used to have these installed on their computers. For businesses, it also meant most of the time hardware investment for servers, redundancy, etc. for apps that were like the Outlook ones, Access, OneDrive, everything that was storage, mail, collaboration, needed some type of a server and some kind of infrastructure that then needed investment, it needed maintenance, it needed updates, right? And the thing was, with the different Microsoft 2010 and 2016 and different versions before that, you had to repurchase the new version in order to have the new features of the Office suite or the new app that you were looking for and whatnot, which meant a lot of maintenance and a lot of repurchasing for small stuff. People were stuck in different versions and whatnot. What Office 365 bring is all of these apps, features, and everything under one simple cloud model. So Office 365 basically delivers you all the apps that you need, from the classic, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, and whatnot, up to the SharePoint, Outlook, and all the other apps on any device, straight from the cloud. You need zero hardware to acquire those apps. Everything's on the cloud, and everything works on a per user basis, where you pay an amount per user per month. and you receive all ongoing updates, all features, every new app that Microsoft brings out is available, and everything is at the end of the day dependent on your type of subscription you have to the Office 365 licenses. So a lot more easier to manage. If you have, I don't know, 20 employees and the next day you have 21, then you just add a per month cost. If you have, if you go from 20 to 19, you just take one off. So you're never stuck with licenses that you're paying extra for. You're really paying for what you need, as you know, in the present time. Why should businesses like probably some of you guys are listening to, so why you guys should leverage it? So, well, the world works fairly differently today than it did a few years back, right? Microsoft conducted a small survey that told us 50% of business email users are primarily relying on mobile devices for their emails, right? So we're speaking iPads, tablets, we're speaking iPhones, we're speaking, Android phones, everything that's mobile is now, for 50% of the case, the first mail tool. Yeah, sorry about the hesitation. Next, 71% of SMBs believe mobile apps will replace traditional solutions in the near future, and I think today is a really great example of this. This app that we're using, that's called GoToWebinar, for this webinar, is completely cloud-based. In fact, I'm giving this this webinar from a desk on my laptop, but I could download the same app on my iPhone, have the same presentation going, and present this to you in a cafe, for example, if I had access to Wi-Fi. The noise and the quality would be different, but it gives you an idea of the possibilities of the mobile apps in the future. This, was not doable a few years back. And 60% of employees said mobile technology makes them more productive, which is really not a surprise, right? In a world where we're constantly connected, we're constantly on, with our phones and laptops and tablets, having the opportunity to work just as well in our commute, for example, if you have quite a commute to do on your phone, on your tablet, for example, if you're taking the train, in a cafe, at the office, at the co-working space, whatever, the possibility of working as well on mobile as you could on the traditional laptops or desktops makes a hell of a difference and makes everything much more easier and smoother for everyone. Office 365 was basically built on 4 pillars that Microsoft, I would say, identified as 4 pillars for the modern workplace, right? So the first one is collaboration. And everybody, I'm 100% sure that everybody online is used to those ping pong emails where you send a document to someone that replies, is this the last version, or did Bob change it, or was this corrected and whatnot? So there was all these different apps and different scenarios where people were actually doubling and tripling their workload just because there was not a right way to collaborate easily. So that's one thing they really, really focus on, and you'll understand as we go towards the different applications and the new features. Mobility, like I said, the ability to be able to edit a document, whether you're on your phone or a tablet or your laptop, whether you're at home, at the office, makes a world of difference in a world where we're constantly moving. We're left, we're right, we're everywhere. Intelligence, we all know that data is one of the things that drives better business decisions. And one of the goals of Office 365 was to provide better insights, to drive better business decisions. And obviously trust, which is pretty much security, right? So to protect your organization, data, and people. In a world where we're all in the cloud and these famous or infamous hackers are getting more and more notoriety, it's important to work within a secure environment. And this is why Microsoft put one of these key pillars, because everything being in the cloud, they need a world-class, and they have actually probably one of the best infrastructures in the world to support this suite of applications. So start with, I would say, the more common apps, you can now create, share, and find content a lot more easily and collaborate a lot better within the Office applications and the OneDrive storage app. As you can see on the right hand screen there, or on the right hand picture, sorry, you could be multiple people editing the same Word document at the same time, and so you're able to co-author in a better manner. You're also able to control who has master edits, for example, who can suggest, accept, or decline changes. You're able to store, sync, and share files a lot easier because it's all dependent on web links. It's available from OneDrive. If you're on your phone, on a tablet, or on your computer, you have the same exact features and the same accesses, which makes a world of difference when we need to tweak little things or approve little things. You don't need to, fire up your laptop, log into your VPN, into your private connection, and all that. You can do everything in a much smoother and more simpler manner by using these new features that they put together. You're also able to trace the integrated feed and the version history a lot better, so you're able to know or to find sources of problems, or I guess solutions. Probably the biggest app from Microsoft, or one of the biggest, Outlook, has been revamped a little bit to give you smarter email and calendaring functionalities. You now have this, for example, the inbox, which is now split into two categories. You can see on the right there, it has the focus categories, which is basically what should be important and work-based or contact-based, so people that you actually know or get in touch with, and something that's work-related that you should focus on. And the other tab, which is typically reserved for spam, promotional emails, and things that might just distract you from the day-to-day. In Outlook now, you can it's been a while, but you can tag colleagues within your organizations with the at mentions, just like you can do in social media. You're also able to share OneDrive and SharePoint files very easily with web links, instead of attaching documents and versions and being lost in a trend of email. You can work with the same web link within like a chain of email, for example, which makes working on the document and collaborating much more easier, much smoother. The calendar has also been improved, as you can create group inboxes, group calendars, and manage or collaborate within a team, or have information within a team in a much more easier manner, which is one of the core pillars of 365. I'm guessing everybody online knows Skype. Microsoft bought Skype a few years back. They've integrated to complete cloud communication. So Skype now enables you, well, it was able to do most of that, but it's now integrated into the Office 365 suite. You're able to text, you're able to meet online, you're able to have video calls, non-video calls across any device, whether it's an iPhone once again, or a Mac, or a PC, or an iPad, or an Android tablet, whatever it is. You're able to share screens, you're able to take control of another screen, which enables for very quick and good communications within Teams. It's also fully integratable with VoIP solutions. So if you have a phone system that's cloud-based, you can integrate Skype for Business right into it, which makes it a lot easier and makes collaborating, once again, a lot better. Yeah, that's one thing. To give you an idea about Skype capabilities, and the next one, which is Teams, which is probably my favorite, we could have this webinar on Skype for Business right now. So it's able to not only do one-on-one calls, but you can have multiple people on the call, and you could receive webinar on the Skype applications. My personal favorite of the new, I'd say the fairly new apps of Microsoft, is definitely Microsoft Teams. It's a chat-based collaboration tool. As most of you probably know, the chat-based tools like Slack, like Facebook Messenger, like Google Hangouts, for example, and others that are very popular, exploded in the last, I'd say, 5 years-ish. And Microsoft Team is pretty much, Microsoft response to the market. And as Skype will probably become fully integrated in Microsoft Teams in the near future, Microsoft Teams gives you a lot of cool options to, create groups by colleagues or by departments or by just friends within an organization to chat, to share documents, to collaborate on projects, to work just in a simpler, in a less formal manner than the typical email chains and the tasks and whatnot. So it gives you this sense of collaboration that's a lot better, or at least I feel it is. One thing that can be really cool also about Microsoft Teams is the ability to create and customize bots. For example, I gave this example in the French webinar, so I'll give the exact same in the English one. You could have, for example, a bot that's in the HR department group, and if someone was looking to learn more about company insurance, for example, that bot could understand that if there's company insurance and a question from someone, it shoots a PDF about the details of the company insurance, which reduce the, I would say, useless interactions with the HR department, makes access to information a lot smoother, a lot easier, and at the end of the day, it makes everybody's life a lot easier. Teams also comes with tons of different connectors. If, for example, you're not using OneDrive or SharePoint, which are Microsoft apps, but you're using iCloud or Dropbox, for example, then you could integrate these as with connectors into Teams. You can also connect different apps or project management apps, which increases collaboration between different apps and softwares. Makes it a lot easier. SharePoint has been improved a lot. I mean, SharePoint is a nice app which you create an intranet. You can create microsites. You can create it's a document sharing app, right? So you're able to share documents per department, per team, and it's now smarter and easier to work on than it's ever been. You're able to, so for example, SharePoint will recognize if you're part of the sales team, right? And it will give you access to the sales document in the first tab, for example, rather than the accounting document, for example. And that is if your admin or your business owner or whoever takes care of managing 365 did not change the security rights for people. Because if you're in the sales department, then obviously you might not have access to any accounting information, and vice versa. It becomes a lot easier to manage and collaborate on content because, like I said, everything can be either real files or it could also be web links, which makes everything a lot easier. They made it in a beautiful looking manner too, which makes it, as far as a user experience, a lot better. And the integrations is also advanced. Just like any app, it's available on mobile devices. So whether you're from an iPhone, a tablet, or a computer, for example, you have the same information and the same capabilities, the same data, everything. You're also able to automate business processes from SharePoint, which is fun. For example, if you're in the sales department, once again, and you need to have an approval for an expense account, right? Well, you could go within SharePoint, fill an expense report. When you hit that submit button, there's a notification that's sent to either a manager or someone at HR or someone in the accounting department. Then it's approved, and then it can be processed to payroll. And these can be done and automated through different apps that are either Power Apps and Microsoft Flow that are both part of the 365 suite. Like I said, all of the apps I just talked about and all of the Microsoft Office 365 apps are available with full features, and that's really important, with full features on any device. So whether you're on a laptop, desktop, tablet, phone, you're able to have all the same capabilities, whether you're editing a Word document or looking at your emails or looking at your SharePoint files. You have the same capabilities on whatever device you're on. The only thing that you need is obviously an internet connection. Like I said earlier, better data means better business decision. Everybody, I believe, knows Excel. One thing that's really cool as far as data mashing and monitoring and reporting is Power BI, which is Power Business Intelligence, um, which enables you to pretty much mix and mash any type of data that you may have that's relevant to your business, whether it's budgeting or sales forecasting or cost or production or whatever, and bring them into a nice a nicely looking, very user-friendly manner, which enables you to have data real quick, easy, and take better business decision because you have quantifiable and tangible proof that your decisions are backed by facts, which is once again one of the pillars that Microsoft wanted to stand out on with the Office 365 suite, right? So, and you're also able to share that data, whether it's within the full organization or within a department or within, for example, the C-levels, the managers, or so you're able to really have a better overview of your data quicker and in an easier manner. Another pillar, which was very, very important for Microsoft and very important for everyone, I believe now, especially with the new laws, the new hacking trends, and everything that's coming in, is that whether you're an SMB, a two-people organization, or 200 or 5,000 employees, you have enterprise-level protection with super solid security features. And that's one thing that's really important, especially if you have regulations within your own industry that are very strict about security. You're able to know that everything is controllable through the admin center. You have full security authority on whether it's per user, per department. For file sharing, you're able to know everybody. You're able to know basically anything. If someone logged in, when did they log in? What content did they look at? You're able to have a global overview of everything. You have automatic updates on all apps all the time, which is very fun because you never have to manage these. And if you're a MicroAge customer, you have access obviously to our technical resources for support, but you also have Microsoft support that's within 365. So you really have everything to manage your whole suite of applications in the best way ever, from security to support once again. And one thing that could be very important for your data backups and whatnot is you can set different retention policies depending on your business needs or your industry needs, for example. No, so how do we implement these beautiful applications, right? Microsoft came in with a very simple I'd say three-step plan. The first one is to get ready for your organization, right? So you want to answer the questions why and what's in it for me, for the organization, and all the users. Why are we moving to Office 365? And ideally, the question is not to just use Word, Excel, and PowerPoint in the cloud. It's, you want to use those powerful applications that are in the box, basically. You want to develop a vision of, how are we going to work better by using this feature or this, file sharing app or this Microsoft Teams app, or how could we use Skype with our VoIP system, for example, to make everything a lot easier. One thing that's super important is that this vision or this plan cannot happen with only a few people within the organization. You need to have the input of different stakeholders from different departments at different levels, because they might just give you a hint of their reality and why this feature or this will or will not work, or will improve or will not improve their work capacity within their department or their reality. And to make it easy, or to make it as fun and productive as possible, you want to have some quick win plan. You want to have a 30-day win plan. What do we want to achieve in the first 30 days that we roll out? 60 days, 90 days? Where do we want to go in a year from now? And like that, you're able to track progress and just maximize the investment that you're about to do or that you're doing, I guess, within Office 365. Then you want to onboard your new apps, right? So the onboard phase comes in three steps. Once again, if you're about to do this exercise, wherever you are in Canada, we can help you to make a migration plan, a training plan. We're able to analyze your current environment up to where you want to go with your own business needs. So please reach out if there's anything. Fairly simple. You want to assess your environment and make sure you're able to, I'd say, catalog any problem and remediate to them. Then you want to go ahead and do your migration, right, which includes your plan, testing the plan, obviously, before deploying it. Then you want to have a migration date and reroute all the email services and the different services through to the 365 ones. And then you want to set up your end users, your email clients. If you have an environment or a business where you provide, for example, mobile phones or tablets, you want to install those different applications with the different users and passwords, and you want to make sure that the different security policies are well implemented, and you want to validate that there's no outstanding issues or concerns within your users, because as you may or may not know, the more small losses you're going to have in the process, and if you're not as smooth as possible, it'll discourage people fairly easily, and you want to avoid that. So a solid plan for deploying and migrating and onboarding your employees is very, very, very important. And then what you want to do is you want to drive adoption. Driving adoption will work basically with planning the right way, sponsoring your employees. So you want to, for example, I was taking the example of a sales team, right? So you want the sales manager to say, okay, guys, I want everybody to work on Teams by this date, right? And by using Microsoft Teams, we will be able, to share the forecasts faster and share the wins faster and share, practices faster and whatnot. And you really want to educate and make your users aware of what's in it for them, right? If you just tell them, listen, guys, we're using Microsoft Teams as of now, it's good because I've decided, and so did management. Well, guess what? Your adoption level is just not going to be that great, right? If you're able to provide them with proper training and make them understand what's in it for them, how this app, for example, is going to make their work either smoother or easier, or just it could be just more fun for them to work on that app versus another one, then you will get better adoption. Getting better adoption means you will get better results from your users, and at the end of the day, it'll mean better ROI for your organization. And then obviously, you want to follow up and support. Once again, if that's something that you're not comfortable with, like within your organization, it's something that we can do, whether it's training your employees on the different apps, supporting your employees on the different apps. We're able to provide all these services across the country, so you guys can leverage and get the most really out of these apps. Little case study from, I don't know if Jason's online, our friend at MicroAge Regina. A nice project that they did for the Law Society of Saskatchewan. The situation was I'd say one out of many that we see in the market right now. An old Exchange server that was coming near end of life. There was a lack of confidence in tape backup solution, which in 2018 is, it's a little bit out of date. They had staff that traveled frequently across the province, and some staff at remote locations, obviously, because you need people not only in the one office for that type of business. And the solution that our friends at MicroAge Saskatchewan implemented it brought some incredible results, right? So they implemented email with Office 365 with a separate cloud-to-cloud backup solution. They installed a full communication suite by leveraging Microsoft Teams and Skype for Business. One thing that I'm guessing that a whole world of difference is the half-day on-site and remote training in groups of 5 to 10 users. So they were able to really, like I said, really drive adoption, really make them aware of how to use those new products and new apps. How is that going to make your life and your work easier? And then they did subsequent courses diving deeper into different topics, different apps. The result is quite interesting. First off, big capital savings, 25 grand that they did not need to invest into a new server, the whole migration, making sure the data is following and everything. You're also eliminating an out-of-date tape backup solution, which, as a lot of you may or may not know, tape backup is very, it's not secure at all. I mean, if you're, I don't know, your receptionist or your accounting or the president takes tape backup at home, gets, I mean, I'm not hoping that happens to anybody, but gets hit by a bus, which is the typical expression. You basically lost your data or your backup, which is very bad. Having cloud-to-cloud data backup is a lot more secure. It's very cost-effective and enables you to have data or data capacity on demand. And the recovery time was increased from hours to minutes, which in a world of hacking spree and potential potential disasters or whatnot is a game changer. At least I think so. Microsoft Teams and organized groups allowed for better communication with Skype as well, and it reduced the amount of I love that, the ping pong email, when people send an info to someone and have it forwarded to someone that replies, I don't know, is this the last version? This is v.1.1.2, but I also have v1.2. We've all been there. So this has all been eliminated. And the training solutions really allowed the users to understand better and the company to maximize the investment, because if you're able to drive as much adoption as possible for new apps and new tools that you're providing to your employees, obviously you're ultimately giving your business an edge or giving your business this advantage to ultimately work better, be more competitive. Maybe it's going to serve your clients better, etc., etc. I hope I didn't speak too fast because, as some of you may know, I have a tendency to do so. The 3 next steps that we're proposing for you guys is, first, if you don't have 365, please determine if it's right for you. The answer is probably yes. I don't want to sell it to you, and I'm not working for Microsoft, but truth be told, that's probably what it is. If you already have an Office 365 subscription, make sure you're leveraging the power of all its different apps, right? If you've only switched from Word, Excel, PowerPoint on premise to Word, Excel, PowerPoint on the cloud, you're not leveraging that 11 or $12 or $15 a month that you're paying for different applications. Please look at what kind of apps are available to you and how you can make the most out of them. If you need help to understand those applications, if you need help to deploy or train your users on them, reach out to us. Obviously, we can help with training programs and work, whether it's MicroAge or not, work with a Microsoft certified partner to help you get the most out of your subscription. Whether it's, like I said, the basic apps or the Microsoft Teams and Skype apps that are communication, or it's SharePoint or OneDrive, whatever it is, work with an organization that's certified by Microsoft and that received training directly from Microsoft, so you're able to know all the ins and outs that will profit your organization at the end of the day. That's pretty much it, guys. I hope you liked it. Like we promised, you will have this ebook that's very interesting, I have to say, which is called 7 Ways to Work Smarter in the Cloud with Office 365. Sorry about that. It's available at this link below if you are not willing to type or copy it or whatever. I believe it will be sent to you right after this webinar. Maria, correct me if I'm wrong.
Nope, you're absolutely right, Anthony. So a couple of things. Right after the webinar, we will be sending out the recording a little bit later today. And in that email, you will also find the link to the ebook. So absolutely will be available to you at that point. So Anthony, thanks. That was a great presentation. And we do have a couple of questions that have come through. One thing also, Greta was asking if she can get a copy of the PowerPoint, and if you ping me, and again on that email that you're going to get, there's my contact information. I'll be happy to send it to you. We are sending out the recording, but if you want a copy of the PowerPoint, we can do that. We can send you a PDF. Anthony, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to answer this question, but Tim is asking, many times within a document such as a PDF or a program such as my HP scanner, there is an option to email that document. I used to do this a lot with Outlook email. Now I am unable because the PDF or scanner does not recognize 365. How can I get these to work?
I had a pass with Xerox, so I'm fairly used to printers and scanners and their fun will. The newer, whether it's HP or Xerox or Ricoh or I don't know, whatever brand right now, they have a whole suite of connectors that can connect to, for example, Office 365 or G Suite or all these cloud apps. If you have a fairly old device, it might be a bit of a problem. If you reach out to a new device, make sure these connectors are in. You'll be able to scan directly to the cloud, for example. So if you have, I don't know, this PDF you want to scan, you have access to your SharePoint right from your printer or your MFP touchscreen. So you're able to just scan right away. So that's doable. Obviously, you need the right devices and the right access and setup. See, I could answer it, Maria.
Yeah, that's great. Tim, I hope that Anthony answered your question. We have another question from Angela, and it says, does Office 365 meet all Canadian privacy laws? So neither one of you or I are lawyers, but it might have to do with the data center and where the data is stored, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So some industries have to have their data hosted in Canada. I believe lawyers and accountants, notaries, some others, and yes,
Healthcare.
Healthcare. Yeah, exactly. Some of them. So Microsoft knows that they have, I believe, 2 or 3 data centers that are in Canada that are used for Canadian organizations when they need to. So yes, it does. What's the word I'm looking for? It does respect those laws as far as as where the data is based. It also gives you super advanced security features and control on pretty much every piece of data. So yes, you will not have any limitations whatsoever.
So Angela, again, hopefully that's what you were asking. A question from Heather. So what happens if your internet is down? We are in a remote area where internet sometimes goes down. Does this mean that you would not be able to access Word, Excel files, etc.?
So there's 2 answers to that. First off, obviously, when you have Office 365, you also have the ability to install on your computers or on your phones or whatever, the actual on-premise apps. The Office 365 suite also has a what they call, I believe, offline mode or something like that, which enables you to work on a document. It will not sync to the cloud until you don't have the Wi-Fi back or your internet connection back, obviously. But you're able to work on the document. You'll be able typically to access it. And for example, if you've been working on it for half an hour and then Wi-Fi comes back on, then it's going to sync back to the cloud, so someone in your team can view the changes. So you're not limited. Just make sure the right, the right offline features are set up are done on your licenses. If you need help wherever you are, reach out to a MicroAge and we'll help you out.
Another question from Heather, and I think you were mentioning it before, but if you have an iPhone or an iPad and a computer, would this mean you need 3 licenses? And the answer is no.
Nope. Exactly. We were synced.
I knew that one. That's why.
So no, you don't. It works on a per user. I believe every user has the right of something like 5.
Yeah, 5 devices. That's right.
Yeah, that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
So you could have the same license for 5 devices. I don't know how many you have, but if you can account for a laptop, a phone, and a tablet, you still have 2 to go. So yeah, you're good to go.
Yep, absolutely. So we got another question from Tim, who was asking earlier about the printer and the PDF and all of that, but he's asking, what about emailing a PDF directly from the document?
What about emailing a document directly from the PDF? Not sure I get the question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what about emailing a PDF directly from the document? I'm not sure, Tim. So we'll probably have to get back to you on that one because definitely not uh, clear in our heads what the question is exactly.
Yeah,
So
I mean, if it's a document, you just want to save it to a PDF and then send it, I guess. Yeah, I'm not sure like what's your workflow. Maybe reach out to us offline, and we'll help you out for sure.
awesome. So while we're waiting to see if we get any other questions, there are a couple things that did come up in our webinar earlier. That, Anthony, you were mentioning. So one of the things that I attended the Microsoft conference in July, and one of the things that they put emphasis on is its Teams. But one of the things that came out of it is that their strategy going forward is that Teams is going to, at some point, don't have any dates and I don't know when and how and where, but at some point will replace Skype for Business. So they're really banking on Teams, and it is a pretty awesome application when you see some of the things that they're working on and some of the things that it can already do. It's pretty cool application. So somebody else was asking a question about, has SharePoint become a little less complicated than it used to be? I mean, it's a wonderful tool, but if you were trying to use it 5-6 years ago, it was okay to use, and it did what it said it was going to do, but setting it up and all of that was pretty complicated. And they've really simplified getting SharePoint up and running. Obviously, you still need somebody to help you out with that, but it's a lot easier to do. So just wanted to mention that. We have a question from Simon. Will we have access to our docs if the internet goes down?
Yeah, well, like I said, you do have an offline mode, so you're able to work on documents as long as they were synced before. Obviously, the internet went down, and yeah, you do.
So yeah, that is our case here, right? I mean, every document that we work on is on our internet or the network, or is on our laptop, and it syncs up to the cloud. So if I go home, I can pick up that document from the cloud, work on it. Then if I don't have access to the internet, like Anthony was saying, next time you do log in and you have access to Wi-Fi and all of that, you will have it'll sync up that document. So. You just have to make sure you set it up that way, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, you need the proper setup, but once it's done, you're good to
go. So Simon is saying, I am thinking where we may use more tablets with little memory. So that's so if the internet goes down.
Oh, you mean as far as storage? You could still use. You could still use the OneDrive app as long as it's synced. Obviously, it's going to depend of what kind of documents load you're working with, and there's a whole lot of specifics that I can't know right now. But eventually, depending on your setup, you should be able to reduce the memory that you need in the actual physical devices using the cloud as much as possible in different syncs, and you should be just fine.
So I guess with all of that talking about the syncing and is there Amanda is asking, so is there anything saved to the actual computers?
It's synced. It's all about the setup. Once again, it can be saved directly on the computer or the tablet. It can be as a cache file, and yeah, it depends on the setup. It can be directly saved. It can be directly synced or duplicated into a different drive. There's a lot of different setup and realities. The right way to do this, and I kind of hate to say it online and live, is obviously to do a real assessment of your reality. What is it that you need? How it is that you plan on working? How often you use internet and whatnot, and see if you actually need to save a lot of documents, or if you need to set some documents for little amount of time, et cetera, then we'll be able to, I guess, answer that question in a more specific manner.
Yeah, so I mean, bottom line, yeah, I mean, before doing an installation of Office 365 or anything like that, I mean, you're doing an assessment of what's going on, how people are using things, so what documents are being used, all those different things to make sure that the setup is right for you. Yeah, it's important to do that for sure. We've got another question from Simon. Are there different packages? Yeah. Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and then are there extras at a cost? So.
Yes, there's I don't remember how many packages. The basic, like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, I think OneNote, Outlook, Teams, and Skype might not be in there. There's the first basic package has something like 15 apps, or maybe a little less. And then if you need more specific apps, or if you need different data storage options or whatnot, you can go up into different packages.
You can mix and match.
Yeah, that's it. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh no, Simon, don't be sorry about the questions. This is great. So I was just going to mention you can mix and match. So depending on your user, right? So you may have an accounting person who just needs, Excel, Word, and the basic package, and you might have somebody in, I don't know, marketing who might need, more advanced. So it really depends on your user, but there are several different packages. I'm like you, Anthony, I can't remember, can't keep track of all the packages, but there's different packages depending on what your needs are. So again, doing an assessment, understanding who your users are, what they're doing with them, who needs what, access to what. But once you've got that plan, so if you do, I don't know, the business premium, and it comes with whatever 15 apps, those apps are there for you. So in that user, so you don't have to pay any extra for the apps that are included in that plan. I don't know if I'm.
Yep.
Hopefully, I'm explaining that properly.
Yeah, I think you're good to go.
And Simon, is there another option to 365, i.e., computer-based?
I'm guessing he means installing apps. If so, if you do have a 365 license, you're able to also download the apps on your computer. So, for example, I'm running this off a Mac, but if you're on the PC, it's the same thing. If I log into my Office 365 portal right now, I can use I'll take Microsoft Word. I can use the online. It's called Word Online, actually, I think. Or I can download the actual Microsoft Word app on my computer, and I'm able to work on both with basically the same features and everything. So if that's what you meant, yes, you can.
I think Simon was actually talking about, is there a version that is not cloud-based? So, I mean, you have on-prem Office that's still available, and the packages that were available before are still available now. You're probably not going to get services that include cloud services, right? Like Skype or like help me with Teams, I guess is cloud based, and
Yeah.
and those kinds of services are going to be a little bit more difficult. So hopefully that answers your question, Simon. Question from Adam: are licenses? No, Simon says yes. Okay, good. Are licenses included in the monthly cost? Exchange server.
Are licenses included in monthly cost? Exchange server.
So
if you're looking for the Exchange app, if that's what you mean, your monthly cost does include Exchange. Yes.
But I mean, because it's in the cloud, you don't have an Exchange server anymore, so
yeah,
you don't need.
You're not actually paying for a server. I mean, you're literally leveraging per user access to, I wouldn't say unlimited data, but unlimited possibility of data. If that makes sense.
Okay. That's great, guys. This is a very good question, so that's awesome. One more question from Simon, or not one, but another question from Simon. Will some of the documents be hosted in the USA where law enforcement is different? No.
Nope. No. It's if you're a Canadian Canadian organization, I think out of the box they recognize it's a problem with what's it called there's the name of the law
Yeah,
sorry.
I forget access to information or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
which enables the government to basically do whatever they want with your data, or actually look at it. I believe out of the box for Canadian organizations, it's also here. You would need to double check. If not, it's like a setting you need to set up. But yeah, it won't be if you don't want it to be, if you make sure it's not, basically.
Yeah, so I would just say as Canadian providers, we I mean, that's a question we get all the time from our customers is, is this data here in Canada? So, I mean, it's something that is almost an automatic for us to say we need to host this here in Canada. It can't be anywhere else. It's good to check and make sure that whoever you're working with is aware and that you want your data here in Canada. But it's something that we run up against all the time, and I don't want my data in the U.S. either. So.
I would say the same, but with everything I use, there's probably
That's true too, eh? We use stuff that we don't even know where they're hosted. But anyway,
yeah.
let's not even go there. That's personal. That's consumer stuff. That's not the
You're
same.
right.
So that's it. And Simon, that you have a lot of questions. That's great. We invite you to. Actually, what I'm going to do, Simon, is I'm going to have a MicroAge representative call you. So if you have even more questions, more than happy to answer them for you. No problem at all. Okay, so I guess I'm not seeing any more questions coming in. So I just want to, Simon says, just reserve at least an hour. All right, no problem. So I just wanted to remind everybody to take advantage of that free ebook that we're making available to you, to all of you. So go ahead and download that, and we hope that it's helpful to you. And if you have any questions, again, this doesn't just go for Simon, but if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We would be more than happy to help. So I think with that, I will say thank you very much, Anthony, and thanks everyone, and have a great rest of the day.
Yeah, thanks, Maria. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.